Shalom and good day all, this is the Helium29 back again for another Marvel comic review, and in this Marvel comic review I'll be reviewing issue 100 of Elektra. Now this story of Elektra has two stories in it, which I'll practically be rating them both as like one whole story. So jumping in, the first things first, and that is in relation to the cover. Does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that's happening inside of the story? Sure enough, it does. To which I give it an 8 out of 10. I'll now move into the internal art, to which we'll have a look at art from the first story as well as the second story. And of course, in other words, basically like usual, beginning, middle, end, and then I'll move into the story's ratings, starting now. So this is some of the art around the beginning of the story, to which this deals around the characters of Typhoid Mary as well as Elektra. And in this as well, you learn a little bit about even their past in this issue. And yes, we get an indication of a comic reference, which is really nice to see. I approve. As we move towards the middle, which is the end of this story, we see an event occurs, and they also go out of their way to save some civilians. Alright, I'll now move into the next story and show some of the art around the beginning and of course the end. I must admit, I definitely like seeing these covers here that are shared inside the cover, or inside the comic. I hope they also bring out a couple of Elektra maybe trade paperback omnibuses, because I'd definitely be interested in picking them up. She's one of my favourite heroines that I like in the MCU, or the Marvel Universe. And as we move into the beginning of the story, now I've got a slight criticism in regards to this, but I'll get back to that later. But of course, this centers around Matt Murdock and Daredevil, and of course Elektra. And an absolutely beautiful scene here. I must admit, I think I enjoyed this one a little bit more than the first one. So, for the internal art, I gave it a 7 out of 10, as I really liked it in somewhat both of them. Moving into the stories and their ratings, in regards to time, we got the reference to weeks ago. Oh, hold on. I need to make a small correction there. Comic references. Did we get any references to comics? And sure enough, we did, to the Elektra Black, White and Blood issue 1, to which I did end up reviewing on the channel, and I will be getting a hold of the trade paperback in relation to it. Moving into the area of time, we ended up getting the time reference of like weeks ago. Now the location a location that came up in the story was a Creed Psychiatric Ward, and that links to the first story that was shown in this. The cast of characters consisting of Elektra, Typhoid, we also saw Fisk and Four in the story, and last but not least, Daredevil. So before I move into giving the story rating, I think one thing that would have been really good to see, especially when it came to the Matt Murdock Daredevil story, yes, it was okay to see what was actually being said to him in English, but I think it would have been a little bit more impactful. Yes, you could have had it in English, but you also could have shown what it looks like in the Braille at the same time, so the reader knows what or how Matt Murdock is reading it, not how we, the reader, are reading it. So that's my only smallest criticism, but overall I gave these stories, for both of them, a 6.5 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.